Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for joining me this week. We've wrapped up a lot of the breeding plans that I showed you for this season, and as we get into the very quiet time where not a lot of activities happening other than pairing animals, we're going to take a little bit of a left turn in this video this week, and I'm going to show you something that I've been stepping into lately. So let's take a look at what's new around here. So, many of you have probably been paying attention to some of my other social media stuff where I've kind of let slip a little bit of clips and hints here and there. Not necessarily a secret, but I haven't been full-blown announcing it. But what you see here is a new enclosure. We're in the middle of the snake room. Yes, it's on a tub temporarily, but this thing is full, weighted down, heavy. It's actually quite stable. This is not a permanent arrangement. This enclosure will eventually go into a basement space at a friend's house where we can work with a little bit more open room. But for the time being, this is here, and while it's here, I thought I would take full advantage of access to this animal and do some educational information, considering there's a lot of bad content going out there. So if you haven't guessed by now, what we have here is a venomous enclosure. It is locking. There's a shift box in there that I made out of PVC that has a locking latch. There's a whole lot of things that went into how I'm keeping this rattlesnake so I can do it safely, never put my hands on it, never come into contact with the animal or share the space with it, and should never experience any sort of danger. Working venomous can be quite safe if you know the do's and don'ts and have gone through extensive training with people who can teach you. Don't try and learn on your own. Do not do this at home. I am keeping this snake legally in the state California. You can keep native rattlesnakes with just a fishing license. There's a little bit of nuance to that. You can't keep the Crotalus ruber or the red diamondbacks down in San Diego area. They are protected. And then there's limits, of course, daily catch limits, permit holder limits, restrictions like that. So this animal was a wild-caught rattlesnake about 5 years ago, and he's been in the care of a friend of mine for the last 5 years until he decided to get out of snakes. Obviously, it's not easy to just rehome a rattlesnake. I didn't want him to be faced with a tough decision, and given my background in zoos, having a lot of experience with venomous rattlesnakes in particular, figured I presented the safest and best option for this animal and the community at hand. You can't just let a rattlesnake go anywhere and expect it to survive. In fact, there's been a lot of studies shown that when you relocate some of these rattlesnakes, if you go more than a quarter mile out of their normal range, their mortality rate skyrockets. They essentially are lost. They're trying to find familiar landmarks and things so they can sort of ground themselves, find home and shelter. And they oftentimes are predated upon, killed in human-animal conflicts or road mortality, or just die of exposure and starvation. So given how long this animal's been in human care, can't go back to the wild. Zoos aren't going to take this animal, and it probably doesn't need being said, but can't just give this to any old person. So it's a very boring job taking care of venomous. Feeding, I do it with tongs. My hands never enter the enclosure. When a rattlesnake strikes, he hits it and usually lets it go. The rodent goes off and dies if it's a live rodent, and then he goes and eats it. It's not flashy like you see on TV and Animal Planet, some other YouTube channels where there's people free handling and throwing it all over the place and putting it over their shoulders. It's work. It is very boring. It is point A, point B, steps 1, 2, 3, rudimentary, and that's about it. So I want to break this clip up a little bit and show you some of the tools that I use. Obviously, people are very familiar with snake hooks. Lots of different companies that make them, different sizes, different styles. I really came up working venomous, learning the 2-hook technique where I use both hooks to manipulate the animal. But I do also have some gentle grabbers, some field grabbers here if I need to just grab the snake and really control it and make sure it's not flying all over the place if it's getting wily or something. more for like extra riled up individuals. I do have some long grabbing tongs, because if you'll notice over here, the water bowl, I can literally just grab out with this, pull it out, change water without my hands ever crossing the pane of existence where that snake is in that room. So I can change water safely, I can feed safely, I can even use a hook to open these doors. So these handles, I can use a hook to slide them. I can manipulate the shift door and the latch with hooks. I never have to stick my hand in there. And if I need to service this enclosure, I can safely remove the animal either in the shift box, fully closed and locked, or I can go the long way about it and use hooks, get it out, and put it into a shift bucket. I do have a couple Venomous shift buckets labeled with locks, a window, a way to open it again safely without ever having to put my hands anywhere near a snake. And essentially everything that I'm doing is adding protocol, safety steps, and removing me from the equation. And ultimately what it does is it creates an environment of little to no stress for the snake. So it's a win-win for everybody. Okay, so now I'm going to put in a clip here. It's just shy of 2 minutes. And it's the snake when I got him home. And it's just a really, unfortunately, rather boring, uneventful clip of me taking the snake out of the transport bucket that it was given to me in, getting it out, putting it on the floor, repositioning, showing it to the camera a little bit. There's a little bit of me just kind of feeling him out, seeing how he's behaving, and just trying to keep it calm, seeing how he moves. It was my first time working with this particular individual, although I'm very familiar with Crotalus in general. He's a pretty calm guy. He's a little over 3 feet, but knowing rattlesnakes, when they coil up, it's very quaint and tiny, so it doesn't seem like a lot of snake until you pull him out and see him all stretched out. He's got a beautiful rattle. He's got about 12 buttons to him, so for those of you who don't know, every time a rattlesnake sheds, it gets another layer of keratin added to that rattle. It sort of grows. Now those rattles can break over time. They can smack on a rock, or the animal can fall and it can break. It's essentially the same material as your fingernails, just a little bit harder and makes some noise, but it is brittle. And so a rattlesnake can shed multiple times in a year, and it can basically go from having its little baby button to 5 or 6 buttons, steps on its rattle in about 2 years. So it's really neat to see how long you can get on a rattle of these guys. I feel very blessed to have this animal. I feel very blessed to live in North America where these animals reside. There are no other snakes in the world with freaky tail appendages that make noise like this. The only other thing I could think of is the Urarachnoides, the spider tail horn viper that has the tail appendage that looks like a bug. That's pretty freaking rad. But anyway, I have always worked with Venomous in zoos, and I've always said I would definitely keep Venomous privately if I had a logistical reason to. And lately there's been a lot of bad press with free handling, people getting bit by animals. You know, some were accidents. Well, they're all technically accidents, but some should have been avoided, and some were just, you know, it's a dangerous snake and that's part of the job sort of thing. And we've lost a few people that I wish the world hadn't lost. And then there's a few people that seem to get the free pass when they do something silly. I'm not going to name names. They don't need any extra publicity. But the whole point of me coming on here, talking about this rattlesnake and showing it off, is to put out some non-sensationalized venomous content, and to show the world that not everybody who works with venomous snakes is a mayonnaise-skinned knucklehead egomaniac, and 2, isn't always going to be free handling and doing ridiculous stuff, putting themselves and the general public at danger. These animals can be kept safely. They don't need any more villainization than they already get. And yeah, I just want to put my hat in the ring, so to speak, put a good foot forward, and yeah, we'll see what else I can film safely for you guys for this video. Alright, so this is going to be some really boring venomous content because I'm pretty sure, yep, he's in his hide. He's in his little shift box. So, what we'll do, before we clean him, we'll do that. There. Now he's locked in his box. I'm just gonna leave it. Give this to my assistant for water cleans, please. Whenever doing venomous work, might as well clean the water. Thanks, honey. All right. That's pretty much all we have to do. Except now we gotta let him out. Ooh, shouldn't have done that. Good to go. Safe and easy. Thanks, hon. So before my lights go out here, I was pretty non-sensational because it didn't need to be. If the rattlesnake was not in his shift box, I would have scooped him out with hooks, put him in a tub, locked him up in the tub, and then done the exact same thing. If there's no need to put your hooks on the animal and no need to touch it, move it, then don't. There was no need for me to take the shift box out, so I didn't. It's nice and secure. It's all I need. Got it done, in and out, easy peasy. There's nothing glamorous about it. It is just work, and he didn't like me doing that. You can still hear him. So, low stress, still a little bit of stress on him, but not on me, which is good. Everything's safe, done with protocols, 2-person team. My wife was there with tools as backup just in case, always. So, safety is paramount when working with venomous. And yeah, it's just work. It's nothing flashy. It's pretty boring, honestly. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys. Thanks for checking this video out. It was non-sensational. Hopefully it was informational, but I'm sure if there's any comments in there that say it was rather boring, that's good. That's what I was going for. I want Venomous work to be shown as boring and authentic as for what it is. You know, very step-by-step processes with safety in mind. There's no room for error. You never know how you're going to react when you've been bitten by something, and it might be written off as mild and you might have a terrible reaction. Obviously this is much more severe. This is a Northern Pacific rattlesnake. So not cutting any corners, not taking any chances, and doing it safely by the books. So with that, go check out my sponsors, rile'y Serpents. He's doing a big promotion and a rebrand right now, so go check that out on his Instagram. Big deals going on. Check out Reptiles Express if you're going to be doing any shipping, although the shipping weather is coming up to a close soon. It's getting pretty cold, so get out to your animals or get your purchases in before you do. I've got one male bredli available as of this moment, one baby that unspoken for, and then the rest are all up on the website of everything else, so get it in before it gets too cold to ship. I've got some more going out next week. Check out premiumcrickets.com as well if you need bugs and things shipped to your door. Promo code rile'y15 at checkout for them, and with Reptiles Express it's rile'y50 to get you those discounted shipping labels. And then become a member of USARK if you are not. Go check out the alerts that they've been posting, USARK and USARK Florida. Become a member. Membership is important. And last but not least, if you want to support what we're doing here, all the Patreon support goes to paying for said rattlesnake and feeding him and all that good stuff. We do a lot of cool monthly Zoom meetings, discounts on merch, first access to babies, lots of cool stuff going on. We got an awesome Discord community. So if you'd like to join up and come be part of the family, look me up on Patreon, just rile'y Jimson, pretty easy to find. So I guess that means I'm out. Thanks for accepting me into the Venomous world. Don't be harsh on me. For those who don't know, I've worked Venomous for almost a decade before bringing this guy home, so easy on the comments. Be nice. I've got a lot more Venomous experience than you probably know. So anyway, stay safe, everyone. Have a great one.